Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. Uh, am I audible? Okay, so in yesterday's session, we studied a little bit about HTML, the basics of HTML, and how we develop very basic websites, how we can see the markup text in our browser, what is HTTP, like how we send request and how the response is received from the server. We studied about all of these things. Then inside HTML, we studied about the heading tag, the paragraph tag, and the div tag, then the bold, and there were many HTML tags, how we used it. We studied about that, how we can add images, and how we can create table, how we can create forms. All of these things we studied in yesterday's session. So then we studied a little bit about CSS part. Like there are three types of methods of writing styles in our HTML. How we can change the We studied like how we can change the color of the like font color by three ways in by using CSS. So we studied about all of these things. Today we'll continue with the CSS part, and I'll try that we complete the JavaScript part, basic JavaScript part also, so that in tomorrow's session we can like work with a little bit of like the backend part and how we send the HTTP post and get request. So today we are going to study about CSS, and let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. And yeah, so these were the things that we studied. This were the things that we studied in yesterday's class, like the introduction to web development and all of these things that I have recently talked about. In the CSS part, I'll revise all the things once again. That when we look at CSS, then we have the method of writing CSS in three ways. The first one is importing, like adding some attributes. For example, style is equal to color and the black. We can write it like that, or we can use this particular style tag. Inside that, we could target the element and change its color respectively. Another third type of method is by creating a new file that we did yesterday. See, we created this particular style.css file, and we connected it with our index.html file, which is primarily our the see here it's the link. We have to add this link is related to style sheet, and inside the href we add the name of our file, which is basically the style.css. So now we have connected this, and we were working on the styling part of this particular line of code. So I'll just open it once again and paste this in my browser. So you can see this was the part that we had done in the like styling part. Here we have given the body background color of black. So the black background color is what is showing here. And also the color of orange and blue is showing on the headings. So I just remove all these styles and we'll start working on the new part, like making this website a little bit more pretty or beautiful. Okay, so now if we go to the colors, so as you have might have seen that when I was targeting this particular h1, I was writing color as black. Okay, so apart from writing black, there are a lot of colors that I can add. So basically I can write color as simply the name of this color, or suppose I want a particular shade of black. So for that I have a really good we have a really good like website. It's colorhunt.com. If we go to this particular website, then you can see there are a lot of colors that are available that we can just simply use on our web pages. So now basically if I just explain it to you guys that there are three ways of writing colors in CSS. Let me just open the notes and tell it to you. So in the starting I had written black color, right? In the starting I had written black color. So there are three ways of writing black color in CSS. The first method is by simply writing that we had already written, like color is black. Okay, first method is this. The second method of writing this is color as hexacode. Okay, this is known as the hexacode. And if I write 0000, then this means black color. Okay, this particular hexacode is black color. The third method of writing is by using RGB. So I can write it like this: RGB 000. Okay, so this there are three methods of writing black. All of them will give a black color for us. So this represents the red shade, this represents green, this represents blue. So this combined makes black color. Okay, so this is what is like basically told inside the CSS. So we'll just also write it like this here. So here it's written black. So what I can do is, in place of black, I can just target body. Okay, in place of H1, I will target body and I will change its background color. There are a lot of attributes also in CSS. You don't have to remember all of them, but if you know how to write one, like the syntax, you can write all of them. There is no issue in that. So if I have written black, I will write hash 0000. So this is hexacode basically. So if we just go back to our web page, then you will be able to see. Yeah. So if you see this particular web page, just a minute. Body background color, it's not changing. Give me a minute, I'll just change it to H1. Background color blue. Yeah, so if you see, this particular background color is happening here, and if I just copy the hexacode, I think I have not written the complete hexacode of black, so I'll just copy the whole hexacode of black. See, this is the particular, suppose, hexacode for black, and I will paste it here, okay, with a hash sign. As soon as I add this hash sign, you can see this black particular color is showing on my screen, and if I refresh this, you can see that this particular hexacode has changed the background color of H1 to black. Okay, and I can also use the RGBA value for that. So if you can, for any color, you can search the RGB value. For example, I need of blue, so RGB value of blue. If I just go here, so you can see this is the particular RGB value of blue, 00255. So if I just go back and I add here, in place of this RGB 0 0, and here it will be 255. Okay, let's just check what we see on the on our web page. So you can see that I'm also able to add the RGB value. So is this part clear to all of you? So this is a three method of writing the colors. That was important. So we have covered like the colors part. Yeah. So see, this was what I was talking about. The first one is we can add the RGB values. This is the red color. Okay. Then we have the hexacode, like uh, this particular code, and then we have, see, we had written only four zeros, that's why black was not coming, so we also have to write these two zeros after that. So then we have this particular code. So there are a lot of codes that we have for the like colors. So you can check this out if you simply click on any color. For example, if I click on this color and I go back and I just change the background color to this particular hexacode only, I have to add hash, then this particular color will be obtained on the screen. You can see the color that I copied from there, the hexacode came. So you can add any color of your choice. So for now, today, when we are learning about the CSS part, what we'll do, we'll start developing a portfolio website for our basically for our learning perspective. Okay, so today we are going to, like, by learning everything, we are going to develop a portfolio website. So for that, we have, what we can do is we can add a name. Okay, so I'll go to the my HTML part. Yeah, so this is the code that is being displayed on the web page right now. Everything will be same. I will remove the body part from here. I will save everything, click on refresh. So everything is removed from now. And what I want is, I want my name to be displayed here at the top. Okay, so what I will do is, I will add here h1, and that will be the name. For example, John Doe. You can add your name here, and if I click on save, click on refresh, then you can see the name John Doe. But I don't want this background color to be there, so I will just remove it by going to style.css. Let me just close here everything. Okay, so I will remove this part. I don't want this for now, and I will open the my index.html file, and this is my css file, which is empty for now. I will close off everything. Now what I will do, I want this particular John Doe to be displayed without any color, so that is happening. Okay, now what I want is, I want it to be displayed at the center of the web page. I don't want it to be displayed on the, like, left part. Okay, so how I can do that? So if I go to style.css part, and I have to target h1, so what I will do, I will add here h1, and inside the h1, I will add the property text align to center. So this particular property, it does what? It makes my text to be aligned at the center of the screen in the horizontal direction. So if I just refresh it, so you can see this is displayed on the center of my web page. Now what I want is, I want this particular text to be a little bit bigger. It's very small for me. So although it's written in h1, I can change the size of this particular h1. So what I will do here, I will use font size as, let's say, 100 pixels. I will explain what pixel means here. So if I just refresh this, you can see the size of the particular text has increased. I hope this part is clear to you all. So this particular text has increased, this particular size has increased. So let's just understand a little bit about what this particular pixel size means and how many units are there in CSS. So if you just go back here, so in the starting, we had written about the property of text align. We had written this particular property, this text align, and now what we are doing is, yeah. So what we are doing here is, we want, uh, yeah. So what we want is, we want the text align property to be at the center. So I can simply write inside any whatever I want to align. I can add here text align center that I had written in the code. Okay. One another thing is, I can align it on the left side also. I can align it on the right side also of the screen. All of this will work. So for our code, we wanted the center, so we used this particular line. And if you want it to be at this left, it can be at the left. And if you want it at the right, you can write here right. So see, if I write here right, I click save and go back, click on refresh, then this will be displayed on the right of the web page. So I just change back it to be at the center. I hit save, click on refresh. So this will be happening. Now about the font size. So basically, font size is anything that you want to increase the font size. Font, like, font is our text. So there are a lot of units in HTML and CSS. So what we can do, we have written here the pixel. So pixel is not the the image pixels that you might have studied about. It's not that. It's a unit which is static. Okay, this is a static unit, and uh, it has some value basically. So you can say if I write here 1 pixel, so this is very static unit, and then you can change it to, you can add as many value of this as you want. So for now I have written only 100 pixels, right? So I can change this also. I can write here only 10 pixels. That is also possible. Only the negative value of the pixel is not there. See, this is the smallest value. So if I say, just let's check what is the smallest value of pixel. So I will add here 1 pixel only, and I will click on refresh. So this is the smallest like pixel. Okay, now I will change it back to 100 pixels only. I will click on refresh. So another unit that we have is the percentage. Okay, one unit is pixel, another unit is percentage. So I can also use percentage for font size. So if I add here, right here, let's say I add here 40%, for example. Let's see what happens. Okay, if I click on refresh, so you can see it has taken a little bit smaller size. So percentage has a different value, like 40% means some different value basically. So it's not similar to pixel, right? If I write here 100%, let's see what happens. So it's smaller than 100 pixels, but another type of unit, right? And third type is rem, and fourth is m. So both of these three are relative units. What this relative unit means, they change according to screen. Okay, so suppose you have, your screen is, suppose 1440 pixels in width. Okay, so according to you, this will 40% will mean something else. Okay, and for, suppose someone who has a uh, width of the screen as 1000 pixel, then 40% will be something different for him. So these type of units are basically called relative units. So I can add here relative unit also. So that's why this percentage symbol is coming very, like percentage unit is coming very small, because it depends on your screen width, right? So for if we go for the rem part, so rem is basically relative unit with respect to root of HTML document. Like what is the width of this? Suppose this is the particular HTML document, and if you have your font here, so the size of the font, if you have written it in rem, like suppose 3 rem, 3 rem means relative to this particular screen, it will be 3 times of that. Okay, 3 by divide by 3, something of that. And if you write m, so it will be relative to parent. Okay, relative to parent. For example, you have your particular font inside a div, and you have this particular font. So what will happen here, if you have written this m part, then this particular font will, size will be decided according to the unit that you have given here, not according to the root of the HTML document. Root will not matter here. So these are the different types of unit. You can study a little bit more about them if you want. So if you want everything to be static, like if you want this particular size to remain static, then you will use your pixel. And if you want it to be relative, then you can use percentage. So generally for fonts, we always prefer rem and m units. So it's always a good practice to write your fonts in these particular two units, because they are relatively better looking. Okay, so I will just change it to, let's say, 1 rem. I will save it. I will go back, click on refresh. So you can see this has not changed. I will increase the size a little bit. Let's say 3 rem. Okay, refresh, click on save. So this has increased a little bit, but I think it's also smaller, little bit smaller. I will change the zoom to 100% only. Yeah, so I think this is okay for 100% width. And yeah, I think 3 rem is okay for the name. I don't think I need more of that. Now what we'll do is, I want a little bit more better background than white for my this particular web page. So I will go to this particular page and I will simply search for a very good color. You can also take any color of your choice. So this particular palette is, I think, looking good. So I think I'll go with this particular color, which is lighter. So I will add here body. Okay, and the background color of my body will be this particular code. Okay, this particular hexa code. We'll click save, go back, click on refresh. So this is looking better. Okay, so this will be my background. Now, uh, what I want is, this is, so I have done. Okay, now here I want to display some about of myself, like something about myself, right? So what I can do, I can add my image here, like what my basically, what is the image. So I can go to look for some random person image, random person image, and uh, we can take any image. For example, we can take this particular image, for example, for John Doe. I will copy the image, or I will copy the image address. Okay, I will go back to index.html, and inside this particular h1 I want the image to be displayed, right? This particular image. Now I will add src. I will paste this particular path. It's quite bigger path. I will go back, click on refresh. So you can see I have got the image, but it's like very big in size, right? I don't want it that big. So for targeting the image, what I can do is, I can write here the image tag name img, and I will give it some width. Okay, so I can give it width of 100 pixels, for example, and height of 100 pixels. So it will become width and height of 100 pixels approximately. So now this is also very small, so I will change it to somewhat 500 pixels. I think that will be better. 500 pixels. So it's looking a lot better. Let me just change it to 300 only. That will be app size. Okay, if I click on refresh, so you can see I am getting this. I can change the width and height of my image also by using the width and height attribute. So now what I want is, I want this to be also displayed on the center of the web page, not on the left part. So how I can achieve that? So what I can do is, for all the elements and everything that is present here, I can just simply write here display property to flex. So in that case, what will happen, as soon as I write the body to display property flex, then suppose this is the body, if there are contents inside this particular body, and we have this particular image which is displayed on the left part. Okay, this is our image, and this is our heading. Okay, so what I can do, I want it to be at the center. Like I want all the elements that is present on the web page to be at the center on only. So what I can do is, I can target this body, and I can change the display property of this to flex. Now what will happen, this particular like this particular page will become what, it will become a flex box. It is called a flex box. Now I can move all the contents that are present inside this flex box. So now what I will do is I will just add here display flex. Now if I add flex direction as column, let's see what happens. Okay, I will add here flex direction to row for now. So I have added display flex. I will add here flex direction to row. So my all the contents will flow in a row form. Okay, let me show it to you. If I refresh everything, then you can see uh, I had written text align center, but John Doe and all of these things have come to the left part on the row and in a single line. Previously they were coming in vertical line, so now they are in horizontal line together. So what is the issue? The We have given the direction of flex items, the items inside the flex box as row. So what is happening? They are coming in a row direction. So I also have column for that. So I can do, in place of row, I can do column. So they will come to the like below, and it will give, like, this particular heading will get space to be at the center, so this will be at the center of the web page. Now I can also do column. If I do column reverse, then my image will come at the top and my heading will come at the bottom. And if I do row reverse, then same thing, the only difference is they will come in one single line in the reverse direction basically. I hope this part is clear to you all. So what we wanted for our perspective, we want it to be in the direction of column. So my all the items will be in the direction of column. Now once I have done these two things, I can do what? I can add here align items to be at the center. So now there is a very important, this is a very important property. Okay, let me explain a little bit about that. So suppose this particular is your web page, this is your web page, and here what you have is, you have this axis, this is your y axis. Okay, and you have this axis, this is your x-axis. Okay, so you have, suppose your image here, for example, I have my image here and I have my text here. So, and I have added what? I have added flex direction as column. If I change this to row, then what will happen? This particular image will come here, this particular heading John Doe will come here, and image will come here, and this will be the scenario. This was the scenario that we had written about the flex direction row. Now what I want is, I want these two things to be displayed on the center of the x-axis, right? I want this particular thing to move here in this direction basically. So what I can do is, for moving things, when you have this row property, I can use justify content center. Okay, so if I do this, so what will happen? My these contents will move to the center, and if I change this justify content, I can do it to right, then my contents will move to the right. So let's just do this. What I will do here is, I don't need text align center for now, so I will just remove it for now. Okay, now what I will do, you can see both of them are in the, give me a minute. Yeah, I will remove this text align center to show it to you guys again. Yeah, both of them are in the left portion, and if I change it to row, both of them will be back to the same line. Now I want to move them in the x direction. I want to bring them here, just like this. I want to bring them here, so I will use, for moving them in the x direction, I will use justify content center. Previously they were in the left. If I refresh this, they all will come to the center. Now suppose I have moved them here. Now these particular contents, these John Doe and my image, they have come to the center. Here now my John Doe and the image is here, right? Due to justify content property, because I have added this on the, this moves in the x-axis. Suppose I want to move these elements in the y-axis. I want to move them in the y-axis. So for that, for moving things in the y-axis, I use align items as center. So what will happen if I write this? They will come here at the center of the web page. Basically, they will come here. So if I write here justify content center, if I add here align items also for the center, then if I click on refresh, go here, then you can see they have shifted a little bit. Okay, because this is the whole content that we are talking about, so they have shifted a little bit. They will come to the center. If I just remove this, then you can see they will also move a little bit to the center here also, right? So this is covering the whole page, so they are not moving. Now I have to change it to column, right? So as soon as we change it to column, what will happen? These things will be reversed. Okay, justify content thing, this will reverse, and as soon as I change the direction to column, they will be reversed. Here it will be column, and in the x-axis, for aligning things in the x-axis, what will happen? I have to write align items as center, and for the y direction I have to write justify content center. So they have moved to, they have like reversed their roles. So here previously for row it was just align items, and now it is justify content. So I want them in the column format, basically flex direction column. So what I will do here is I will add here align items center body, and if I just go back, give me a minute, let me write here flex direction as column, click on refresh. Okay, so this has come in the column direction, and if I add here align items to center, then they will come to the center in the x direction. I hope this part is clear. So I wanted this, so we have done. And if you want, you can also add here the text align property to center. It will not matter that much. Okay, so that is what we wanted. So we can create this flex box not in the body also, but anywhere of our choice, like wherever we want. So you just have to write display flex and the flex direction, and you'll be good to go. Okay, now I want to add another heading which will be on the left part. Okay, so it's always a good practice to add divs for sections. So what I will do here is I will go here, I will add here one h2 heading, and I will say about me. Okay, refresh everything, then you can see now everything that I'm writing inside body is coming at the center part, right? They are coming in the center. I don't have to do anything for that. They are automatically coming to the center. So if you want them to be left, everything to be on the left, you can change the align items property to left only or start only. Okay, so I have added that here about me for the h2 heading. And also I think this is a little bit smaller, so what I will do, I will target h2, and I will increase the size not to 3 rem but to 2 rem. Okay, so I will do here font size to 2 rem. I will click on refresh. So you can see the size of the heading has increased a little bit. Now I will add a little bit of paragraph about myself. You can add as per your choice. So I will take random paragraph. From here you can, if you want, you can add description about yourself. uh, no, okay, this is the particular paragraph that I'm taking. I've copied this and I'm going to create a paragraph here. Okay, and I will paste this here. I will go back to my web page. I will click on refresh. So you can see I am able to see about me like this. And one thing more, now you can see the alignment of this particular text. It's left aligned. So since everything is at the center, I want the alignment also to be center, the text alignment. So for targeting the paragraph, I will go here, I will add here the p tag, and I will say the align this property text align to be center. Now the alignment of my text will change from left to center aligned. Okay, so this is how I have added the about me property. Okay, I hope this part is clear to you all. Now what we can do, we can add another heading here only. I can add here h2, and I can say change this property to I can, yeah, I can describe here some of my projects. Okay, so if I do this, so now you can see that although I have written this particular h2, okay, I have written h2 here, and it's taking the same size font size as the project is taking same font size as the about me. Why? Because we have targeted h2 here whose font size is 2rem. So suppose you wanted the project to be smaller than about me, but you only want to use h2. So how can we do that? So suppose on this h2 I want this font size to be smaller, and I want this to be bigger. I want these two styles to be different. So how we can do this in our CSS file? We are targeting h2, so this will be applied on both the h2. So for that, one important part also comes in the CSS, which is like very important. So that is selectors. Okay, they are called selectors in CSS. Okay, so what are these selectors? So basically, when we were writing the code here, we were writing the code, we were only writing the name of the tag of our HTML, and we were able to like add the styling to it. Now there are also different methods for doing that. So for suppose for targeting h1, I can use only the name tag that we are using right now. Okay, and I can add color to blue, for example. This is the traditional method that we are using. Now what I can do is I can also give a name to this h1. So for second method, what I can do, I can give a class name to this. So if I just inside my attribute tag, if I just write h1 class is equal to heading 1, close this tag, hello slash h1. For example, I have this. So what I have done is I have given a class name to this heading, and I can also create another h1. I can give a class name of heading 2. This is up to me. I can give any class name, and I will say hello 1. So I have written h1 only, but due to these classes, I can add different styles to it. So for targeting the classes in CSS, we use dot. Let me just explain it to you. So for now we have h2, like two different h2, not h1. So here I can change h2, h1 to h2 also. h2. And what I want is, I want them to be of different styles. Basically, I want the color to be different. Suppose I want color of both of them to be different from each other. So I will add these particular classes in my code also for better explanation. So this is h2. I will add here class to, let's say, heading 1, and I will add one more class here, and that will be heading 2. Okay, I refresh this, I go back to the CSS. This is h2. I will just remove this. As soon as I remove this, the style that were being applied to them will be removed. They will become smaller. Okay, now I will target the class. I target the class using dot. I hope you are able to see this particular dot here. Here we are not adding any dot, and for name of our class we will write dot. So heading 1, and the font size of heading 1 will be 2 rem. I will add another attribute which will be the color of my heading. So my color of the heading will be blue. If I save this, so you can see this is heading 1 applied to my first heading, about me. I will go back to the web page, click on refresh. So you can see only the style is applied only to this particular h2 which had the name of heading 1, right? And it is not applied to this particular project. So I have made both of them separate. Now if I want to target heading 2 also, I can do heading 2, heading 2, and add here the font size of 2 only, font size of 2 only, and sorry, 2 rem, and the color will be let's say aquamarine. Okay, this color I will add here. I go back here, click on refresh. So you can see this is also changed the color. So I am able to target both these h2 by using the class. So for targeting the class we use dot, and similar to that we can add any styles of our choice basically. So I think this part is clear to all of you. Rem is generally used when we are using fonts, and rem and percentage are generally used when we like want to create websites which are mobile responsive also. So suppose I am changing the screen width of that, so you can use rem and percentage. So it will change according to like your preferences. Let me show it to you with one example. Suppose I create a suppose I create a div. Okay, I create a div. Inside the div I have written h2 as hello. Okay, I click and go back to refresh. So you can see this particular div is displayed, but now I will target this div in my css. I will give some width to my container as, let's say, 100 pixels, and height will be 100 pixels. And for differentiating I will give it a background color as black. Okay, now if I refresh this, go back, so you can see I am able to see div as 100 pixels. So this is the use of pixel. It's static. If I change this screen width, see, if I changing the screen width, the size of this particular div is not changing. See, it's not changing, right? Now in place of, suppose, pixel, I use percentage. Then see what is the difference. Now it's taking 100% width of the screen, and also it's changing according to width, like width of the screen. It's changing according to that, right? Let me show you too by making it 70% only. And as soon as I make it 70%, I click on refresh. So I do this, you can see it's always taking 70%. So that's the difference between pixel and percentage. and rem is generally used when we are like using the text. So you can see the text is also becoming smaller because we have used rem unit here, as just like the screen is changing, right? So that's the use of rem. I hope this part is clear to you all. So I'll just remove this div for now, and we'll continue. Yeah. So uh, now we'll take a better heading for about me and project. We'll go to color hunt again, and we'll in with this particular palette. So we can take this color, okay, or yeah, we can take this particular color, and we can add color here. And let's see if it's looking good. Okay, so it's lighter, not visible, so we'll take a darker shade. You can take this, paste this, and save, refresh. So that's looking better. Okay. I'll do the same color for this also. Same for the project. Okay, so this is the text about me and the project. So inside the projects, I think I'll add the list items. Okay, so I can add an ordered list here, and inside the unordered list, this will be the first list item, and this will be my let's say one project can be the portfolio, another project can be an e-commerce website. Okay, e-commerce website. So you can add any projects of your choice here if you want. And if I click on refresh, so you can see I am getting this particular links here also. So therefore adding the projects. And next section, the last section that I can add here is the H2 contact me. So I will add here a paragraph, and I can add here the email. Okay, I have added the particular email here also. So you can see contact me, and the email is also there. And for H2, I will add one class name, which will be the contact, for example, and go back here. Select the contact by the class name. Since we are using class name, so it will be dot. The font size again will be 2 for similarity, and the color will be, which we have taken right now, this particular color. I will save these pages, click on refresh. So you can see now it's stagnant. Okay, now it's looking much better. So I think this part is clear to all of you. Okay, now the next part that we have is uh, since these are different sections, so what we can do, we can wrap all of these sections inside div. So the first section is our name and the image. Okay, so I'll add them inside a div. Okay, cut this. So now my name and image are inside a div. My name and image are inside a div. And why this particular black section is coming? Because we have added styling to the div. I'll just remove this. So now you can see this is the particular thing that is happening. Now, since this is the div, I also want some of the styling on this div also. So for differentiating, we can use, I have this div. There is one more property which is known as the border. Okay, so I can give 2 pixel solid red border to my div. Then you will be able to see where this div is. So you can see this is the div. It contains my heading and the image that we have given to it, div. So I can give a class name to this div. So I will give a class name, or if there are a lot of divs here, so I can give it ID. Okay, so ID will be home, for example. Okay, so what is the difference between class and ID? So when we are using class, so in a HTML document, there can be only one class. There can be class which can be repeated at a lot of times. So suppose I have given a class name of heading 1 to my H1. So I can give that to H2 also, H3 also, and like I can give H2 also the same class. I can give heading 1 and heading 1, and this will work completely okay. Okay, this will work completely fine. But when it comes to ID, so you will not receive any error, but you can give the same name heading 1 inside the ID tag, but inside the whole HTML document only one ID with this name should be present. Okay, it will not give an error, but for search engine optimization purposes. For example, if you search anything, if you want to search your website on the Google, so if you want it to be received at the top searches, right? So for that purposes, it checks the ID or the sections inside your website. So you should always use only one ID in your code. So for showing it to you guys, I will give it a ID of home. And for targeting ID or giving like style to ID, what I can do, I will remove this and I will use hash. So hash name of the ID is home. So for targeting ID, in place of dot, we use hash. And I will add here border 2 pixel solid, and this will be black. Okay, go back to my web page. I will click on refresh. So you can see I'm able to add styling using the ID also on my div. Is this part clear to all of you? So this div is just like a container, and we can do a lot of things here also. For example, I can make the width of this particular div as 100% here. So let's see what happens. This will be 100% width, and you can see this has shifted to the left, because now for our image and everything, the parent is not the HTML document, the body, but the immediate parent of my image and heading is div. Let me explain it to you in simpler terms. Previously, this was our, I will show the body with green color. Okay, this will be the, this is the body, and when we had not written the div part, then my heading and the image was working according to its immediate parent. So their immediate parent is what? Immediate parent is body, right? This was happening previously. So whatever styles you were applying to body, all those styles were getting applied to your particular their children, right? Now what is happening, as soon as I change this, like I have done what, I have taken this part only, this is my document. Okay, and This is my body. This is my body. But now I have a new thing, which is div. Right? It's taking 100% of the width as I have written in my code. See, it's taking 100% width of its parent basically. So its parent is body. Div parent is body. So it's taking 100% of the width. I hope this part is clear. So this is taking. So now inside this, I have my the heading and the image. Now the immediate parent of these two things is what? I guess you will be able to guess them. The immediate parent of this is now our div, which have a ID of home, right? So now all the styles that you will apply to home will be applied to these two, its children basically. So now, as soon as we have written here, the flexbox properties of body, these particular properties of body will not work on it, right? This will not work here. So we have to again add the display property to be flex for our home. Now this will be our parent. As soon as we write this, let's see what changes we see here. So we have written display flex. By default, they have changed to row, and everything else is same. Like everything else is not changing accordingly. Now I will do what? I will add here flex direction column because I want them to be in the column form. So this will be column. We have done that at column. It's coming at the center align because we have added text align center property. Now I want it to be at the center, so I will again add after column align items to be at the center. Okay, click on refresh to see I am able to change the alignment accordingly. Okay, now I also want to change only background color of this portion where I have this image and everything. So let me search for a color. uh, uh, so suppose I want for this particular div I want this color. Okay, and I go back. I want background color to be of this color. Click on refresh. So you can see the portion where I had the John Doe and the image, they have changed their color. So this will be my introductory section or the other section. Now let's target the other section. Okay, so this is the about me section. So what I can do, I will go back, do the same thing. I will wrap about me and the paragraph inside one new div. I will wrap them inside the new div. I will remove this closing tag from here and I will add them in the paragraph. Let me click on refresh. So nothing will change, but you can see these things have become at the left because again the properties of the body have changed. That I was saying. This will not work. The display flex direction column align item center property. This will not work for basically our div. Okay, for our basically new div. So now I will add one ID to this. So the name of my ID will be about. Okay, I will click on refresh. I will go here and below the home I will add the about my name of the ID. I will again give it some border of let's say 2 pixel solid and black. Okay, go black, click on refresh. So you can see now I have the 2 pixel border on about me section. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so what I was saying this is the about me section, and this has come to the left part because this particular section of the body, the display property, flex direction, they are not working now. So I will do what? I will add here explicitly my display property. So I will add here display as flex. So let's see what change we see in the about section. So you can see they have come by default in the row. This is the about me and this is the paragraph. Now I want them in the column form only. So I will write here flex direction as column. Okay, save. I will refresh this. So you can see they have come in the column, but again my about me is in the left alignment. I want them to be at the I want it to be at the center. So I will add here align items to be at the center. Click save. So you can see now it's in the center. I also add explicitly background color. I'll take another background color here. Let's take this one, hash this particular color. I will click on refresh. Now you can see this particular div has a different color and different properties basically. One thing more, you can see that this paragraph is like taking space of like the 100% space of the div. So suppose I want to change it. I don't want it to be at particular 100% width. So it's always a good practice to use the like the paragraph that you are using to be with classes only. So I will write here para 1, and here I will target this para 1. Okay, and I will make the width of this paragraph as only covering 80% of the width of its parent. Okay, not the document but its parent. So you can see it's now taking 80% width of the parent only, not the 100%. So it's taking 100% width of the screen. Now this has happened. This is done. Okay, about me section is done. I can also target the, yeah, let me just increase the font size of this also to, let's say, 1.5 rem, and see what we see here. So okay, I have increased the font size also to 1.5 rem, and this has not happened here, like it's not changing because I have added class of para1 here. Okay, now I will create div for both of them also. You can do along with me if you want, and I am completing this. You can see here. So this is the about div. Now I will add another div for projects. Okay, projects. The as soon as I do this, you can see all the display properties will also go from here. They have come to the this part, left part. Okay, now yeah, close tag, and I will make the width as 100%. Okay, this will move here. I can add here the border to pixel solid black. Again display flex, both of them in one line. I will specify the direction. Okay, I will align them in the center. Yeah, so they are at the center of the screen now. Now what I will do is I will give some background color to it. Let's see this color. On refresh. So this will be the color for my project. I will do the same for contact me. Now I can also use ID here. As soon as I use ID, this will change to hash, and rest all the things will be same. Now again I'll repeat this for contact me. Okay, so for this div I will give it an ID of contact, and I will target this contact using the ID, and para give it width of 100% and border of 2 pixels solid black. On refresh, save. Now it also contains this. Again the display property to flex, just align items center. Okay, I will also specify the direction. See, now I think we have done a lot of like things. One another thing is, suppose I don't want to, I want all of these styles to be like, all of these IDs to be similar. Okay, I want to target all of them together, right? So what I can do is I will remove all of them. Let me show it to you guys with the notes. Selectors. Yeah. So there are different ways in which you can write the selectors basically. So we have studied about universal selector. If you write star here, so it will select everything in your document and it will apply the styles to everything in your document. If I just go back, I hit Control A and comment out everything. Okay, whatever style I have written, I click on refresh. So you can see all the styles have gone, right? All the styles have gone that we had. Now if I use this particular selector star and I change the background color of all of them to black, for example, now let's see what happens. Background color of everything will change to black. Okay, let's say not background color but color to orange, for example, and let's see what we get here. So if we refresh, so you can see everything that is present on the web page has changed its color to orange. So that this particular selector is called universal selector. Element selector we have studied, basically what we were doing here with the body and the paragraph tag. This is the element selector. We can use more than one selector. For example, I only want to change color of my H1. Okay, so if I do this, I will get color changes only on H1. Okay, and if I add comma here and give here H2, so they will be applied to not only H1 but also to my H2. And if I add here comma paragraph also, so they will be applied to paragraph also. I hope this part is clear to all of you. They are called selector lists. Okay, ID selector I have already described that we are going to use this. Just give me a minute. So basically we have a lot of selectors present here. So we can also use this descendant selector. So list items inside anchor, I want anchor tags of only list items to change it color, so I can use this descendant selector. Adjacent selector I can also use, which come immediately after h1, only that should change. Then direct child selector we also have. So there are a lot of selectors: input type text selector, then pseudo class. Suppose I want, what are the pseudo classes? Just me explain a little bit about this. So suppose I have this particular h1, and if I add this pseudo class, we add it by adding a column, and we write here over. Okay, over. Yeah, no, this will not be there. And I want, what is the meaning of hover? When you basically scroll your mouse over that portion. So in that case, I want the color to change to green, for example. So I will refresh this, and if you see, as soon as I scroll my mouse over that, so it's changing its color to green due to the pseudo property of it, basically. So that's the hover. So you can also use active. Active means when you click on something. Then you have the checked, nth of type. So there are a lot of like properties like that. So you can also do this. If you add first letters, then only first letter will change. First line, and only first line will change. Selection and after. So there are a lot of pseudo elements. You can check them out on the internet, and you can practice. So both the use case or the syntax is similar to this. If you want to take the screenshot of this, you can take. I'm giving you a minute, so then we'll continue further. Okay, let's continue further. Now this is the now cascading property of css. What is the cascading property? Let me explain a little bit about this. So suppose you have h1. Okay, h1 you have. Let me just go back here. Yeah, so suppose you have h1 here displaying hello on your web page. Okay, so, and this is your css file. css file, and it contains styling of h1 as color red. Okay, this is your css file, it contains color red. So as expected, you will get a red color here, right? Now what you have done, you have also written this, and you have also written here h1 style is equal to color orange. Okay, now the cascading property says that the preference or the priority, in which if you have written both the css, the order of priority will be, first priority will be given to inline css, then the next priority will be given to your style tag, and the last priority will be given to your css file method. Okay, so if you have here, if you have written red color and orange color, then on your screen, you if you are able to guess it right, you will be getting orange color heading. Okay, so this property is known as the cascading property. Let me show it to you with one example. I'll just remove this styling of h1, and here I will do what? I will add h1, and I will change the color of this to color will be red. I'll save this, go back to my web page, click on refresh. So you can see the color will be red. Okay, now I have added this. I will go to index.html, and here this is the h1 that I have, and here I will add another styling method, and I will write here color as orange. If I do this, click on refresh, so you can see now I have the orange color here, because this has more priority than the file system. Okay, now I hope this part is clear. Now let's suppose this is not happening. I have written h1 here, and I have again added h1 and color to green. Okay, if I click on refresh, now I have written h1 three times, but only orange is showing because this is given the most priority. I will remove this. Okay, now I only have what? I only have two h1 with color red and color green. So if I refresh, so you can see I'm getting green color. So what is the reason for that? The reason is basically, if you have written one style here and you have again written another style here, then the second one will be given more priority. Okay, this will be given more priority. Okay, so this is the another property that you have to always remember. Now, suppose I have given it a class of main heading. Okay, this is the class of main heading, and in place of this h1 I give it main heading. Okay, click on refresh, go back to my web page, refresh everything. So you can see I am getting this red color of the class, not the second one, right? Although it's coming in the second. So what this means, that class, if you have written here your class and you have added the same element of the class basically, so class will always be given more priority than element. Okay, this is very important that you have to like remember. Okay, now next comes, suppose I change this to uh, suppose I also give it main heading and I also give it id of id heading. For example, I have given a name something like this. This is the main heading. I will remove this or let it be, and I will add here id heading. I will refresh this. If we go back, click on refresh, then you can see I'm getting green color for the id. So this describes what? That id is always given more preference than class. So I think you are able to define the order, that if you have id selector, it will be given more preference than class selector, and this will be given more preference than your element selector. And if you have two element, then the one at last will be more in priority. Okay, This is the cascading property in CSS. I hope this part is clear to all of you. I will give you a minute to so that you can ask your doubts if you have any, and then we'll continue further. Like we have covered the Flexbox part, media queries part is left, then Z-index is left. Then we'll complete all the important concepts of CSS. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat box, and I'll be back in 1 minute. You can also take the screenshot of the notes. I am just showing it to you. Okay, so if you guys don't have any doubts, we'll move further. So we have covered the important aspects in CSS also. Now, yeah, these are the different methods of adding the selectors. Now we are going to study about a more important concept, which is basically the box model in CSS. So what is a box model? So every element that you are seeing, be it h1 or div or image, or basically any kind of like element of HTML, they possess a box model, body including body. So suppose this is the area your element is covering. Okay, this is the area your element is covering. So it has four sections. First one is the margin. Then inside this we have, in this particular shaded region, this is where we apply padding. And on the top section, like uh, above the element, this is the element. See, this particular element we apply border. So what I am trying to convey is, suppose this is your h1, it will contain a section where there will be a padding, then border, and then margin. If you go to inspect, okay, if suppose this is my this is the, let me take a div for showing you this example. Let me go to index.html, and here I will add one div. This div will contain a class name of test, and now it will have something of a paragraph, hello, and now I will add a style to it. This will be a width of sorry, div, the class name is what I have given it to. I have given it test. So dot test, the width will be uh, 400 pixels, for example. No, let's say 300 pixels, for example, and height will be 300 pixels, and the background color will be aqua. Okay, I will save this. If I go back, click on refresh, then you can see I am getting this particular box. So you can see, if I zoom here, you can see this hello does not have any space, right? There are contents, and it does not have any space. So if I just add here, uh, I will start with the top one, that is margin. Okay, so margin of 10 pixels. Okay, so you can see outside of this div, this is shifted a little bit from the screen. See, here it's shifted a little bit. Let me increase this to show it to you more clearly. 100 pixels, refresh this. So you can see it has shifted from 100 pixels. It has shifted 100 pixels from all sides. 100 pixels from all side, from outside, right? So if I just click on inspect here and developer console, and if I just scroll it above, then you can see you have this particular box model displayed here. So this is for every element on the HTML. So here, if you see, this is 300 into 300 pixels, which we have specified in our code that this should be 300 pixels. And when I like do this on page, it will be 300 pixels. Yeah, so I think now my screen is visible and I was disconnected due to internet issues. So, yeah, I was describing that basically, if you have this particular div, so there are three sections in the box model. The first one is the margin, which comes here, then you have the border, and then you have the padding. Then, and this is the exact your element inside this, the padding and everything. So you can add it custom, you can add all of these things. So this part comes in your this box model: margin, border, and padding. So this is relevant for all the HTML document. If you go to inspect and you check this out, then you can find this for all the elements. If I just click on this particular heading, then you can see this heading width is 964 into 34 height. It contains no padding border, but it contains 19 pixels of margin top and 19 pixels of margin at the bottom. Similarly, you can check for all the elements. You will find it here. If you search for image, then your image is 3000 in width and 2000 in height, and it does not contain any margin, padding, and border. So this is the CSS box model basically. So I think this is enough for today's class. We have covered the flexbox and all the properties. In CSS, only the z-index property and the media queries property is what is left for now. Rest of all the things are completed. If you guys have any doubt, you can ask, and this session is completed from my side. If you have any doubts regarding today's session, you can ask in the chat box. Okay, so if you guys have no doubts, we can, I think, end the session. We'll meet tomorrow again for covering the JavaScript part and the left CSS part. And okay, thank you all for your time and have a nice day.